the first step is really simple. You're just going to put 2 coats of paint on the front and on the back as well, just because this will help weather protect it. And also as you paint your edges, you're bound to get some on the back. So I just want to make the back look nice. So 2 on the front, 2 on the back, and then we'll meet and add some details. Coat. I'm going to let it dry for a minute, and then I'm going to go back and do a second coat. Just while you have your brush, you should also get into the corners like the tail and make sure the edges of the feet and stuff are painted. I'm not painting my stick because I figured we're going to stick it right in the ground, but if you want to paint your stick white, go for it. So I am just going to let this dry for a couple minutes, and then I will paint it. You'll see like a little yellow around the edge of your tail and your feet. That's okay. It's just like the burn marks from the laser coming off a little bit, but our second coat of paint will cover that, and when we add our gray details. So I'm going to let this dry. If you are also painting the carrot, now is a great time. You could do the carrot top. You could like work in shifts, just so you get everything has enough time to dry and you're efficient. All right, so I'm gonna let this dry for a couple minutes, and then I'm gonna go back and put a second coat. So I pretty much painted my whole carrot while I let this dry, and now I'm just gonna go back and I'm just going to put a second coat. Pretty much everywhere you put the first coat, put a second coat. While my second coat is still drying, I have my black cap. I put a little bit of black, and now I'm going to put a little bit of white into it. And we're trying to make a gray. I want to make a lighter gray, so I'm going to put a little more white. So I made some gray, and with this gray, we're just gonna add some accents. So I'm gonna clean my big brush. I put my second coat on my bunny, so he is good. So I'm gonna clean my big brush as best I can. You might wanna put it in a sink, sometimes that helps. But I just wanna get some of the paint off. I have a little white on it, that's okay. So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna put a tiny bit of that gray on my brush. A teeny tiny. And with this gray, I'm just gonna add accents. So this gray is really gonna help us highlight our tail and our feet as well. So I am just going with that gray, I'm just gonna add a little bit of gray to highlight my tail. And it's almost like dry brushing, but we're kind of using a wet brush. And I'm just going like from the outside and bringing some gray into the tail. And a little goes a long way, and if you mess up or anything, you just paint white right over it. So I worked from the outside in, and it just highlights the tail a little more. If you get a little in your background, you could use your small brush and wash it a bit. So I'm putting a little more gray. I'm gonna do each of the feet. Hopefully with the feet, you could still see your circles or your ovals, but if you can't, you could kind of just do it yourself. Guesstimate where they actually are. Just adding teeny bits of gray. And I'm doing this while my paint is still a little wet. You could also do it when your paint is dry. So I did it to both my feet. I'm super light with the color. And now I'm gonna do it to all around the outside. And just like the carrot, it just helps our bunny be not so flat. Gives it some dimension, adding a little color. You could make this a gray bunny too if you'd like. That would be cute. Alrighty, so he is looking good. So my next step is I'm going to find my red, find my little brush, and we're going to make some pink, and we'll fill in those ovals. I found my red cup. I am just going to add a little bit of white to it, actually a lot of bit of white. You guys should have plenty of white paint. And this is the absolute last step. If you're not happy with the color on your bunny, put more coats on it. But the pink is the absolutely last step. Once you like your gray, if you have it, and all your colors, your gray and your white, once you have it and are happy with it, this is the absolutely last step. So what you're gonna do, and I could barely see them, but you are going to like outline your oval and then fill it in. So once your feet are finished, I only put one coat, that's all you pretty much need. If you need to go back and fill it in a little bit, go for it. But once you've finished with your feet, you're just gonna let everything dry, and then once it's dry, you could put it outside. So I hope you guys had fun painting this little Easter decoration, and have a happy spring.